Hey there, I'm Dr. Dave. Welcome to Microdose U. I've got a really special episode for you today because I've got a story I want to share with you. And also, right after the story, I'm going to go ahead and answer a bunch of your questions that you have about microdosing, magic mushrooms, and anything related. So let's get right into this. I do want to say that it's so good to be back in my home studio after a 51-day road trip. That's right. I in my car drove across the country and visited all kinds of places and people for 51 days. And I've been back for 13, I think 13 or 14 days now. And if you don't follow me on Facebook, you might want to check out because every single one of those 51 days, I journaled about exactly what I did, and not really just what I saw, but like what I was thinking, what's going on in life and the world. And I think it turned out to be pretty interesting. A bunch of people were following that. And also the 13 days, 13 or 14 days since I've been back home, I've continued to follow the journey and share like what I learned and pretty cool stuff. So just, my personal page on Facebook, you can check that out. I've got a story for you now that I want to share. And I will tell you, I did change the name because, well, you'll see, it'll be pretty obvious why I changed this person's name. So Katie was just 17 years old when her life was changed forever. She survived a devastating car accident, flipping her vehicle 3 times and being thrown through the front window. She suffered severe brain injuries, underwent brain surgery, and everything shifted in her life from that day forward. For decades after, Katie struggled depression, low self esteem, social anxiety, isolation, poor sleep, and a deep sense of hopelessness became her daily reality. She even lost her sense of smell, which a detail that speaks just how profound her brain injury actually was. So, in search of relief, Katie tried so many things over the years. The usual stuff, talk therapy, pharmaceuticals, you know the deal. And being super frustrated with nothing working, she ultimately tried ketamine, ketamine therapy. It helped somewhat, but it also brought side effects such as poor sleep, a feeling of being disconnected or spacey. So Katie was very frustrated to say the least. And for some reason, not even positive how, Katie stumbled upon our program at Microdose U. As you likely know, by the way, in this program, we don't provide any medicine. We don't sit with you during microdosing journeys, although microdosing allows you to go about your days normally. You don't have to have somebody accompany you anyway. But we do offer a carefully structured framework and education and one-on-one guidance to help people create their own plan safely and responsibly. So, under our support, Katie began a microdosing journey with psilocybin, magic mushrooms, following a personalized plan designed especially for her. And here's where it gets real. Almost immediately, she felt like a shift. She was finally able to process the trauma of her accident just from microdosing magic mushrooms. And the limited life she'd been living ever since started to change. Focus and motivation finally returned. Hope appeared again. And then something really incredible happened because you might say this is just a placebo. This doesn't really do anything. But Katie's sense of smell totally came back. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it's a powerful sign of true brain rewiring, healing, and a testament to know how her system was actually getting better. She noticed more awareness, greater openness, and a willingness to try new things. Stress became much easier to manage. Joy, playfulness, and connection with others returned to her life. She had not experienced these things in decades. Over the course of the 10 weeks, her schedule and dosing were carefully adjusted as she progressed in her healing. And more recently, Katie added LSD microdosing to her protocol, which brought even greater clarity. And as we often see, these two medicines, psilocybin and LSD, work in harmony, each complementing the other beautifully. I've shared some of this with you in previous episodes. If you're not sure, go back and check them. Do a search, but I've talked a decent amount about microdosing LSD and my thoughts on that. With dedication, Katie showed up every day, setting intentions to reach the deepest layers of her physical and emotional pain. And through this process, she has truly begun to heal. Every day for Katie is getting better and better. So I want to say, if you are struggling, if you're looking for a path to healing, and no matter what you're going through, it doesn't have to be a traumatic brain injury, no matter what you might be going through, this might just be your sign. Our 10-week one-on-one program is open, and during the month of July, we are offering $400 partial scholarships for anyone who joins and get at least, you don't have to even get started in July, but as long as you sign up and join in July, you're good to go with that scholarship. And if a full program feels like maybe it's too much for you right now, we also offer single 1 hour sessions. People do really well with those. And just to help you get started or simply answer some of your questions that you want to do one-on-one. If you want more information on this, go to the show notes in these episodes, or better yet, go to microdoseu.com. It's my website, microdose with the letter U on the end of it, microdoseu.com. More information on our personal guidance programs. We work with you to get you feeling the way you should be feeling every single day. May you find hope. May you find peace. And may you know that you are never alone on this journey. Let's answer some questions that you all have written in. This is one of my favorite parts of these episodes now, because I get down and dirty with you, answering the real questions from the trenches that you have actually written into me. Okay, first question comes from Derek White 2929 from YouTube. And Derek says, "Blimey, you're really into tiny doses, tiny." Well, I have to admit, Derek, since I'm not from the UK, I had to look up the word blimey. So, okay. And yeah, well, Derek, if you look at the name of my channel here and my website, it is called Microdose U. That should tell you that we believe in, yeah, tiny doses to totally heal and get you to feel better every single day. I'm a walking testament to that, because 4+ years ago, I was going through depression and anxiety and a lot more. And Derek, through these tiny doses that you talk about, that I think, a little tongue in cheek, you seem to think that they probably don't do anything. Well, through these tiny doses, it's healed me. I feel like I'm a 10 out of 10 every single day now. And not only me, but a lot of people that have followed my podcast here, my website, and a lot of the things that we talk about, and people that have gone through our programs. So it hasn't just helped me, it's helped a lot of people. So Derek, thanks for your comment, blimey, but well, that's okay. From From a contact form that was filled out on Microdose U website, Mama Lisa asks, do you have any thoughts on microdosing for migraines? Oh, yeah, Mama Lisa, I sure as heck do. I'm a fan. I believe that microdosing psychedelics absolutely can help with migraines. Now, again, this is not medical advice. I say that every episode. It's not medical advice. And check with your doctor if you've got bad migraines. However, having said that, yes, it rewires, rewires the brain. There's something going on in your brain that is causing migraines. Can I share a really quick story with you? Because I am no stranger to migraines. So when I was a kid, I'm gonna say probably 11, 12, 13, in that range, because I remember what house I was living in. I remember exactly where I was. I would get these horrible, horrible migraine headaches, to the point where sometimes I would just have to lay in bed all day long in a dark room because light would hurt. It was terrible, terrible, terrible pain all day long, and these would happen, you know, kind of frequently. And my mom was getting frustrated, and no doctor really knew what to do. So one day I remember I had this migraine really bad, and my mom, I could tell she was just didn't know what to do. So she went into her medicine cabinet, and don't ask me why she had this. I don't know the answer to it, but she had a bottle of something called phenobarbital. It's a barbiturate. I don't even know if it's widely used these days. It might not be, but back in the 60s, I guess that was maybe a lot more common. So she gave me one little tablet of phenobarbital. Um, she even used a little placebo with me. She said, David, this is very, very strong, and I think this is going to help you. So that couldn't hurt things when she said that too. So I took this little tablet, and my migraine pretty much went away within, like, I think within 30 minutes or so. And the interesting part of that is I never in my life had another migraine. So was that kind of like the precursor to rewiring the brain in some way? I'm going to say yes. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go out and get phenobarbital. Like I said, I'm not giving medical advice, and I don't even know if it's widely available anymore. I just don't even know that. But will psilocybin or microdosing psychedelics, or even maybe even a larger dose, help with migraines? I would say there's a very, very good chance, and you could possibly go the same route as my phenobarbital story. So I think that kind of had a little bit of a happy ending there. So, Mama Lisa, good luck to you. I really hope you could find some relief because they are horrible. Matilda K4921 asks, could microdosing increase the risk of developing schizophrenia? Yeah, good question there. My short answer is no. No, not really. In most cases, not really. However, there's a caveat. However, the caveat is if you've got a history of schizophrenia or family history, there is a possibility that mushrooms or psychedelics could trigger things, or if you have it, make them worse. I mean, it is possible. So if you had a family history, or if you've had schizophrenia, definitely it's something that you need to be very, very careful and concerned with. Otherwise, if there's no history, never had it, then no, it's just not going to come out of the clear blue sky. That's not going to happen. Rat Bastard H2U says, I took 1 gram mushrooms for the first time and had a panic attack. The mushrooms told me I love to control things and people. I love to control things and people too much. I also wept on the floor and asked God for forgiveness. Is that normal? Well, so Rat Bastard, just so you know, 1 gram is much more than a microdose, although it's not a large dose, but it's somewhere in the middle. So yeah, it sounds like what took place was what some people, mistakenly so in my opinion, some people call a bad trip. But I don't think there's really anything such as a bad trip with dosing psychedelics, because as I've shared with you many times, the mushrooms are teachers. And they're teachers in such a way that they can dig deep inside of you and figure out what's going on. And maybe they did share with you, Rat Bastard, that you maybe are a control freak in some way. And maybe they're showing you not that you have to change, but they're sharing with you maybe if you would like to know this information, it's up to you whether you want to change or not. So you did learn something from that trip. So I'd say, no, that's not abnormal. That's actually a really, really good thing. Yeah, I don't really think there's a such thing as a really bad trip. It might be dark, difficult, scary sometimes even maybe, but not with microdosing, but with a larger dose. But you're learning something about yourself, and you're able to make a change, and your brain is being rewired. So Rat Bastard H2U, great question. I really, really appreciate that. Logic Choice asks me, do I have ADHD? I've never been officially diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, but I can tell you for sure, I'm sure I have ADD in some way. I mean, my attention sometimes is all over the place. I mean, I remember in school, especially high school, junior high and high school. I got a little better in college actually, in dental school. But in junior high and high school, my mind was all over the place. I couldn't pay attention for 30 seconds. But I think there's a plus to this. ADD people, I think, and maybe ADHD as well. I think we're generally like creative. I mean, I'll be in a conversation with somebody, but at the same time, there's something going on in another part of my brain that's thinking about maybe my next podcast episode, or something I want to do at another time. It's like totally disconjointed, and my mind is always all over the place. But in a way, I think that's probably a good thing. I've never been on medication for ADD or ADHD, and I don't really think I've got ADHD because that's hyperactive as well. Although thinking about it, sometimes it is very difficult for me to stay in one place for a long period of time. I feel the need to move around. So maybe, yeah, maybe ADHD is a possibility. And it's a spectrum, so I probably have some level of ADD, ADHD. I'm sure I do it. And I'm not complaining because I think it's dealt me a pretty good hand in life, making me very, very creative about certain things. And yeah, I might be having a conversation with you sometime, but my mind could be a million miles away because something came into it, and I've got to take care of that before I get back to the conversation. It happens all the time. So if you ever talk to me personally and you feel that I'm like that, just understand that it's some type of ADD. I'm quite sure. Roger A via email. Can microdosing change your personality? Roger A. Yeah, yeah. Well, again, like I was saying before, magic mushrooms or psilocybin. It's like they're like teachers, so they can share things with you about your personality, and then it's up to you whether you really want to change or not. I mean, I've learned so much about myself, and I think there's no question. If I could say probably one thing about my personality since I started, I think I've always been pretty kind, but sometimes I would say things without really thinking, and maybe they would be hurtful to people. I could see that now, but I think these days, after being a 4 year plus microdoser, I really do believe that I think a lot more before I say something that could be hurtful. I think I'm a lot kinder. And I think I don't let other people's like stuff bother me the way it used to. I'm my own person. And again, what they've taught me is that I am in control. I'm in control of my life, and I'm in control of my personality. And my personality can be what I want it to be. And like I think anybody that's known me for decades doesn't is not going to say, Dave, you're like a totally different person now. That's no, no, it's not. I'm the same person. But there've been some tweaks in my personality that maybe are very subtle. I'd say for the better. So yeah, I think they can, and I think generally I would say for the better. Beth L. Wait a minute, Beth L. Is that your real name? That's okay. Beth L. Beth L. says, "Can mushrooms help me distance myself from toxic people?" So it's a little bit related to Roger A's question about changing your personality, but Beth L, absolutely 100%. I'm going to give you a hallelujah. One thing I learned from the mushrooms is, again, I am in control. I do not have to hang out with people that I feel are toxic. I no longer do. Not only that, I don't hang out with people that I feel are not vibrating with me on the right frequency. And again, they might not be toxic at all, but I don't feel the vibration frequency from them. I just don't feel like we're together on things. And they may be great people, but I've learned that, there's no rule that says I have to be hanging around the same people I've always hung around with just because I've hung around with them. No, there's no reason. And I also don't feel I need millions of people to hang around with. I'm like I said, I did this 51-day road trip. Part of it was with my wife. About a third of it was with my wife, but two-thirds of it were by myself. Or I should say two-thirds of it was that's yeah, singular. Two-thirds was, I think that's great. Two-thirds was by myself. Why two-thirds were by myself sounds better. I think it sounds a little more natural. Two-thirds of it were by myself. Well, whatever is right or wrong or more natural. Um, I am very, very comfortable being just alone these days. I don't feel that I have to be with people to enjoy my day, to have fun. And don't get me wrong, I like people, but they have to be the right kind of people for me. Gone are the days where I just hang around people just to hang around. I just don't do that anymore. My life is, and everybody's life, it's just way too short. So yeah, getting back to your original question, Bethel, can mushrooms help distance from toxic and any type of people? Absolutely, yes, 100%. Man, these were great questions. Thank you so much for sending them in. Continue to send them in, and I'll answer as many as I can on each episode. I think what I'm doing these days, if you haven't noticed, is I am doing a short segment at the beginning of the podcast episode. Then I'm getting right into Q&A because I think Q&A is what everybody wants to hear. And if you got one, ask away because I will try my best to answer a brand new episode every Wednesday. And what I was saying before, I forgot to mention one thing that I want to throw in there about if you are interested in working with us one-on-one at Microdose U for the 10-week program especially, we've added if you're interested, we've added a segment on how to microdose LSD, and we follow you along. And we don't supply any of this medicine whatsoever, but we can share some good details with you about it. And there's no extra charge if you want to add the LSD module to your 10-week program. There's no extra charge for that whatsoever. So get in on this, and we want to help as many people as possible. We've helped a lot of you and had a lot of success stories, including the one that I opened the show with. And we want more. We want more success stories. So my good friend and colleague, Dr. Denise Moret, and I are ready for you. And remember, the month of July, $400 scholarship towards your 10-week program. I'm Dr. Dave. I thank you so much for being with me here on Microdose U. I do love you. I feel your presence whenever I'm recording. I know who I'm speaking to. It's you. You're here with me, and that means the world to me. I'll see you on the next episode.